Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on the Shibuya Hello Tarot. Today I am going to prepare for you an interesting video because this one has to do with what are the predictions for the remnant of the year. So I think that's going to be interesting for many of you. I am only going to be using the tarot deck for this reading. And so let's begin. Let's see what's in store for the rest of the year for the entire world. Okay, very good. So I know the angle is not very good, so I'm just going to quickly mention all the cards that I got. First we have Nine of Pentacles, Two of Swords, Five of Swords, Knight of Swords, the Hierophant, Queen of Wands in reverse, the Emperor, Page of Swords, Four of Wands, the World, Six of Wands, the Tower in reverse. Mm, Six of Swords, the Lovers, and King of Pentacles. So, what I see here is that starting July, I see a lot of people becoming a lot more positive about the economic situation and about things making dramatic improvements. I see a lot of people going out, coming out again, and pretty much giving up on the idea of things um, moving backwards from this point onwards. So I believe at this point in time, people will become overly optimistic and they will begin to get involved again in business and pretty much resume their activities as if nothing much was happening out there. I see there's a lot of over positivity and a lot of pretty much like moving on like pretty quick. But in this sense of desperation, they feel like oh everything's opening up again, everything is moving forward, things are working out for the best, but they are not really taking into account small clues and small hints around them that are actually indicating that um, we shouldn't really assume that everything is over now and we are all ready to move on and all industries are ready to resume activities and it's not going to be as planned for that part. I also see there is going to be something important in terms of culture. I believe there is going to be a lot of art being created, a lot of activism taking part, especially around October once again. There is going to be a lot of challenging ideas in terms of very traditional and very orthodox societies around the world. I see a lot of people rising up against um, being orthodox and raising up against very traditional practices, very archaic traditions that are negative for the rest of the world. So it's only like cultures around the world will feel threatened to some extent, but that will be only in regard with very controversial practices. So I have in mind, for example, female genital mutilation, or I even have in mind um, child marriages, maybe even polygamy. So I see a lot of changes coming up for traditional societies in terms of culture. I see, again, not in a negative way. I just see that these are controversial practices. These are controversial rituals and rights are going to be spoken up about in terms of how they affect other people and in terms of how um, they do not let people from the outside get along with them, become a part of their circle. Um, so that's going to be important, and I see it happening around October. And then, for the most part, I think that around that point of time, there will be another um, sense of power for the male energies around there. I just see that they will once again try to get back on power, get back on. I see a lot of authoritarianism, a lot of um, very patriarchal societies, misogynism, and that's why I'm saying it's like a sense of illusion of power because they will feel like they can get away with it and they can just make it happen the way they want to, but they will soon realize it's actually not like that. So there is that. Um, I also feel like there will be some delusion in terms of religion and spirituality. Some people will stop believing in whatever their version of God or the universe is. I see a lot of shifts in this, but that will be only because of the external factors. Those people who are the least developed in spiritual terms, who still have a long way to go, they will be the ones going delusional, and they will be the ones um, losing their faith as well. On another hand, I also see again people traveling, but that will definitely involve a much larger budget than it was planned at the beginning. I see some drawbacks for those people who were thinking of getting married. I see not a lot of them, but yes, some people who had already considered and probably had already even gotten engaged and made the commitment to get married, but then it's not going to be exactly like that. So some of them will delay it, while the rest of them will choose to simply take a step back and not go for it because they have somebody else. They were thinking about somebody else, and suddenly they had this opportunity coming up from somebody else to get married, but then they just went back to the person before them, or just a person from the past, because they realized that there was actually not the right step, towards marriage. So, it's good. Um, yeah, and then again in November, I see people who had once stood up or had just, let's say, taken a step forward and thinking that they had already won, it's not going to happen. I see that coming up in November. Like they thought everything is done, we are winning. The decision is set up, everything is made up now. Um, I'm just on my way to success, but it's not going to happen in the end. Something is going to move there, and then it won't come through. It's not like they had thought about it, like they had planned it. yeah, they will have to step back once again and just move back to the shadows in a way. Um, Finally, I feel like the end of the year is going to be much more fruitful and much more proliferous in terms of spiritual awakening, but also through partnerships and friendships. And it's just like you will be moving on towards. But I see this happening, for people who had already started their spiritual journey. So I think that for you guys, it's going to be um, um, a path that you will be able to walk by, accompanied by someone. So you won't be alone in this, and that will bring you a lot of. It's going to be like the very best moment to resume your spiritual growth and your personal aspirations, your personal self growth. And but again, it's a very good opportunity because you will be accompanied by someone who is very close to you, who is going to be walking with you hand in hand in order to move along this way, to move along this path, and for the improvement of everything and everybody around you. Mm, so yes, this is pretty much it. The general advice would be for you to not rush into things and jump onto um, new standards, thinking that everything is back on track and everything is fine again. Just take your time. Try not to make any rush decisions. Just move ahead with the flow and try to step carefully because I do see um, drawbacks and things going downhill once again around October and November. So this is going to be pretty much all I have for you guys. Hope this reading has been helpful for those of you listening to it. And if it resonates with you, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.